Right guys, we have news regarding the upgrades coming to the regular iPhone 15 models, and they might be better than we expected, and also we could see lower prices. So it's fair to say the regular iPhone 14s were pretty lackluster because they gave us no new chip, they did not have the fancy upgrades the Pro models had, and so you are basically getting last year's phone repackaged in some new colours, and of course at higher prices outside of the US. Now of course, as a result, the market has rejected the regular iPhone 14s, all the demand is for the Pro models, and while that might sound like good news because Apple takes more of your cash, that actually is not so great news when you do consider the fact the Pro models have supply constraints, and so with no one buying the regular models, Apple's holiday revenue is going to be a lot lower than expected. And so yeah, they do need strong regular model offerings, and they're planning to change things with the regular 15 series. So of course, we've already heard about the island coming to the regular models. That's fantastic news because already within a few weeks, developers are actually taking advantage of it, and so by the time the regular 15 models do get it, we should see a completely refined experience. And yeah, ultimately the notch has got quite still, so of course, replacing it with this fresh looking island, yeah, that's great. We should also expect the A16 chip in this, so yes, unfortunately it does now seem the regular models are going to be one step behind the Pro models in terms of the chip, but then again, some could argue that's not a massive issue because Apple's A series chips are already pretty overpowered for a smartphone. Now that's where I thought the upgrades would end, but a source from Weibo says, no, we could see the iPhone 14 Pro wide and ultra-wides come down to the regular iPhone 15 series. So yes, within a year, the 48 megapixel main sensor from the 14 Pros could come down to the regular 15 series, and that's quite surprising to me because I was assuming the Pro models would exclusively have the bigger sensor for a few years. But no, the regular models should get the same exact camera tech as the Pro models, and since we have heard the Pro models next year aren't getting major upgrades with the main sensor, that should mean the 15 series all have the same main camera. And this was actually the case with the regular models up until the 13 series. So yes, if the regular models do get the exact same main camera as the Pros, that's fantastic news. And yes, I know that some may say the 48 megapixel sensor was not a massive upgrade, but do remember that there's going to be a new version of Smart HDR with the 15 series that could optimize the software and of course make this main sensor perform better, but also you do get a 2x zoom with the 14 Pro that's optical quality, so of course having that now on the regular models are going to be massive upgrades, especially since they don't have a third lens. And also, like I said, Apple could improve the algorithms and make the 2x option even clearer with the 15 series, since Google has upped their game with their software magic and super high res zoom with the Pixel 7. So yeah guys, I'm pretty excited for the main camera upgrades. Now the Ultrawide getting an upgrade is also exciting news because we could finally see the regular models get a macro mode. It's pretty fun to play around with on the Pros, and so I'm glad the regular models are finally getting this. Now yes, I know this essentially sounds like a 14 Pro Lite, much like the 14 and 14 Plus were 13 Pro Lites. However, the big news is that the Weibo source does believe we could see lower prices. So yeah, the pricing was definitely an issue for the regular models this year because they were too close in price to the Pro models. For example, in the US, the 14 Plus was $929 unlocked, but you could just get the 14 Pros for $1,000 instead. And outside of the US, it's even worse because the 14 Plus in the UK is the same price as last year's 13 Pros, so that immediately puts off consumers. And yes, I know prices outside of the US are out of Apple's control, but pricing within the US was not great to begin with. And so yes, personally I'm hoping the 15 and 15 Plus are $699 and $799. Because $699 for many years was that perfect price point for the regular models, and so yeah, the regular 14 should come back down to that price, and I think those prices make more sense for the features and compromises of these regular models. And yeah, the source does say Apple's doing this to combat the higher price of the 15 Ultra, since we should expect a price hike of $100 to $150 for that model, so yes, I think it makes a lot of sense that Apple drops the prices for the regular models. Anyways, let's delve into your comments. So LA Rams fan says, it would be nice if we saw red color for the 15 Pros. and I think this is the colour everyone wants. We've been waiting for this for years, and there has been talk that maybe Apple can't achieve the stainless steel finish they want with a red hue, and if that's the case, I actually would not mind gold sides. An Iron Man edition, I guess, I think that would be pretty great, but let's pray the titanium chassis actually gives us a red finish, and we do get a Pro iPhone in product reds. So Opus Digital Audio says, the 10 was a beautiful design and I completely agree with this. In fact, I'm hoping Apple can switch up the design on a regular basis and give us rounded edges for some years and flat edges for other years. So Dominic says, if Apple keeps the 3x and adds a second telephoto, the periscope lens, for 10x optical zoom on the 15 Ultra, they should have a new quad camera design. I think it's time for a new camera design. Now I do know Android phones offer this, but personally I doubt Apple's going to do this. I definitely think the periscope lens is going to replace the 3x, and Apple's simply going to give you the option for 3x by either zooming into the main sensor like they do with the 2x, or of course combining data from the main lens and the periscope to give you that 3x. I believe that's what Google does with their phones, and the optical zoom looks great. And so yes, Apple should implement the same with the 15 series. And as for the camera design, I doubt we're going to see quad cameras, because the triple lens camera has become iconic, with many phones looking the same on the front. I think Apple wants to maintain that look on the back. But also, of course, Apple rarely changes the back of the iPhone in the first place, and especially when they don't need to, I doubt they're going to give us any changes on the back of the device. So yes, while we should see periscope zoom, the 15 Ultra on the back should look the same for the most part. So Michael says, I would love to see Thunderbolt on the 15 Ultra, and I think many consumers would, because if you're going to use ProRes, transferring that footage over Lightning is going to be a pain, so of course, implementing Thunderbolt on the iPhone and making these transfers super quick would be appreciated. And yeah, it's a shame the iPad has ProRes and the Thunderbolt ports, but the cameras on that are a lot worse than the iPhone, so the iPhone should have Type-C on this, and considering these now forcing Apple to implement this, I think they will do it. So James N says, will haptic buttons work with the case? And I'm not sure about this, though worst case scenario, cases can just have cutouts on the sides of the device for the haptic buttons. So yeah, hopefully we do see low prices, but guys, tell me in the comments, what would you want the prices to be for the 15 and 15 Plus? Anyways, thank you for watching guys, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours. Check out the video in the link above on details regarding the Apple AR headset, and on that note, see ya peeps.